This is the 18th season of Bass Talk Live. With your host, Matt Pangrac. BTL is brought to you by Lowrance, Bass Cat Boats, APCO, Strike King Lures, Sunline, Big Bite Baits, Spro, X-Zone Lures, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, and Pro Guide Batteries.
PTL, coming at you!
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Bass Talk Live. It is April 5th. Holy cow, we're already a week into April. And today we are going to talk about bass fishing. We have a northern-themed show for the day. Fresh off of his Bassmaster Open win on Cherokee Lake, Canadian Cooper. I've mentioned this guy. I idled past him in Florida. I've had a bunch of people that are like, dude, you need to get this kid from Canada on, Cooper Gallant. Like, he's doing big things on YouTube. He's caught him since he was like 6. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I think that was Cooper that I passed. I was like, hey, man, I need to get you on BTL. He gave me the thumbs up. And then he goes out and wins the next Open. So we have Cooper Gallant on the show in the first half. And then in the second half, we're going to travel a little bit, I think, southwest of Cooper, where Cooper lives in Canada, to Minnesota, and talk with Glenn Walker and Adam Bartusek. We've had Adam on before on the show, works in the independent media industry. I think he also just got a new gig. But we are going to talk about a very cool event that is about to kick off the beginning of May, the 24th edition of the Dick Hiley St. Jude's Bass Classic in Minnesota. And I'm actually going to be fishing that event with Adam. Some cool opportunities to fundraise for St. Jude and also catch some smallmouth. Now, the rumor has it that Adam said the only way you can catch them that time of year is on a Carolina rig. So we will get into that, but Glenn is also on the board of directors or committee for this Dick Hiley St. Jude Bass Classic, so we're going to get them in to talk about it. But first, we're going to talk about a guy who figured out how to catch a lot of Tennessee smallmouth, and that would be Cooper Gallant. What's up, Cooper?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. You are fishing all 9 this year in the Bassmaster Opens. Am I correct in saying that? Yep. So you did not go home. I went home. You went straight to Virginia.
Yeah, I'm here in Virginia now. Makes no sense for me to go home. I'd be literally going home for a day and shooting right back. So I came straight here, and I'll be on the water in the next few days.
What's gas running a gallon there? You do liters up in Canada, don't you? Do like X dollars per liter?
I don't know. I can't remember what it is right now, but it's pretty ridiculous.
What is it in Virginia there?
I haven't even filled up here yet, so I'm not even.
I know that's a terrifying prospect. Well, you can afford it now. You just won $52K in the latest Bassmaster Open on Cherokee Lake. And has it sunk in yet? I know you've done. I know you did Luke Duncan's podcast yesterday. You've done every Canada paper has an article about you in it. It seems when you Google it. But what is it like for the first 48 hours after you get a W in a Bassmaster Open?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I've got a lot on the go right now. I've been editing a lot and doing stuff like this the last couple of days, so I haven't really had a chance to sit back and take it all in, but I have all week. Once I get out on the water, it'll really start to hit me, and every time I look at the trophy again, it really hits me. But yeah, it was a crazy week, man. I still can't believe it happened. It's a dream come true for sure.
There was a weather delay there, and I said in the show yesterday, like, I was not a happy camper when I got that text that they were canceling the day, because like I kind of struggled during practice, and what I'd found was really based on wind. And I'm looking at the forecast and I'm like, dude, I might be in a little bit of trouble here on the second day, but then at about 11 or 12, when I actually like went down to the lake, I was sitting there, I was sending off all the mat. I can't believe they canceled it. What was Chris Bose thinking? And then I went down to the lake and was like, oh, good call, Chris. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. But, I mean, you had to know what you were on going into that tournament. You don't just go 18 a day and not be excited to get out there, right? Like, were you pretty dialed in and knew that this was going to be a shot for you to get your hands on some hardware?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I was on some fish. I knew I had some fish going that, I was able to have a pretty good tournament. Did I think I was on the winning fish? No. I didn't really know. I wasn't sticking many of them. So, I mean, I knew there's always a chance, even if you don't think you're on them, there's always a chance to win a derby like this. But in the back of my head, no. In the back of my head, I was just thinking, hopefully I can get, a top 20 or a top 30 and get some good points. But yeah, rolling into the tournament, I did not, think I was going to win the thing.
All right, let's go back and just kind of start at the beginning, and then we'll get into the Demiki rigging and how you ended up catching your fish, what your plans are going forward. But like I said in the intro, I don't know if we've ever like officially met. We passed each other on the water a few times. I think we're friends on social media, which counts as friends nowadays, I guess. Yeah. Well, yeah, you're 24 too, so you like have grown up in this stuff. But from what I can tell, it seems like you basically started fishing at like age 6, started fishing tournaments when you were 13, started catching them when you were 14, and for the past decade, you've just like pretty much been on an upward climb consistently. Fair assessment for a 30-second rundown of your life from age 6 to 24?
Yeah, pretty much. You pretty well nailed it. I started fishing when I was 6, and then I got into tournaments when I was 12 or 13, the junior Bassmaster and high school program. So that's where it all started for sure.
We've seen the kind of the path that like a Jordan Lee has taken. A lot of those college anglers, they go high school or college, but you actually went junior. Did you go junior, high school? Did you do any college fishing at all?
No, we didn't have any of that back home in Canada. We just had junior and high school through the Bass Nation, and that's where I started out. We didn't have the whole college deal like they do down south.
But you did that, and then you also took advantage. Also, I remember, FLW was really big in the international. 7-8 years ago, they went from FLW to Fishing League Worldwide, and they had like Korea, South Africa, Botswana, Uganda, like everything. Mexico had it, and Canada had it too. And you really took advantage of the international FLW program. You won not the Canadian Open, was it? But you won the FLW Canada in 16 to go to the Cup. But that was a team event, right?
Yeah, it was the team event. So FLW Canada would have a championship every year, and if you came first or second, you would go to the States. And that was one of my favorite tournaments back home, just because growing up, I always loved going south fishing all these new bodies of water. So yeah, that was a blast when they used to do that.
I think it's really cool to note because we sit here on BTL and the other, and we talk about the path to the top level of competitive fishing. And I was a big proponent of the Casting Kids competition. You weren't even born when this happened. What year were you born in?
97.
Yeah, I won it in 98. So you were one, but that's how I got into the sport, was through a youth program, Casting Kids, and I fished collegiately. That's how I ended up getting into the industry. So I really like talking to other anglers who have taken advantage of the grassroots and the multiple levels and worked their way up to the top. And I think for as much flack as some of the organizations get about how hard it is to get to the top level of fishing, like you're proof, and there's a number of other young anglers that are out there that are proof that, man, if you take your time, if you do it right, if you put in the hard work, that seems to be a theme with you too. Hard work, dedication, doing whatever it takes to get the job done. But these programs, these steps, they work, dude.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot out there between the Bass Nation, the club stuff, and there really is ways to make it happen. You look at guys like Iaconelli, Polinek, they all made it through the Bass Nation. So there's something to be said about that. And I encourage, if you're a mom or dad watching right now, get your kids into it because it's such a great way to get them into it. They learn a lot. They meet a lot of great people, and you can end up fishing the Classic through it all.
You narrowly missed the Elite Series last year in the Northern Opens. I think it was one of those freak divisions where there was a 3-way tie for first. Was it Shakuret, Red Wine, and then some guy named Mike Iaconelli? They all had 549 points, which if you average it out, that's like a top 15 finish across all three of those fisheries, which would have been the James River, Oneida, and Thousand Islands. Obviously, you had to be absolutely jacked to go to Thousand Islands on that. But as a 23-year-old watching two other 22-year-olds in Shakuret and Red Wine make it through that Northern, was that discouraging or encouraging to be that close and miss it, or to be like, dude, I'm right there to make the Elite Series?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both, to be honest. At the time, I was a little sour about it, but I mean, at the end of the day, there's something to be said about making it too early, and with me coming close last year, it just makes me more hungry to try and make it in the next few years, and I think it was good for me because I do still have lots to learn in the southern states, some of the northern states, and yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it would have been nice to make it, but it's all good. I'll keep doing my best and keep plugging away. And again, I think it was more of a learning curve for me than anything.
What is it about these Canadian anglers that, we saw it on FLW for a couple of years with the Johnson brothers and Gussie, but now you look at the Elite Series, you look at FLW, you look at what just went down in this Open with two of the top three being Canadians. Like, you guys seem to really translate well to fisheries that aren't in Canada, which is weird because as a guy, okay, I'm in Oklahoma, but I go up to Canada every year. But there's a lot of people down here. You just think like wilderness, northern pike. Like, you don't think of it translating to great tournament fishing. But dude, like, there's something about some of those fisheries up there in Canada that really translate well, because you've got a lot of Elite Series winners, Angler of the Year contenders coming from Canada now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I got asked this question yesterday, and I don't really know what it is, but
let's figure it out. I want to figure it out with you now on why it is, because it's dominant right now.
One thing about back home in Canada is we have so many lakes. We've got clear lakes, we got tea stain lakes, we got muddy lakes, we've got shallow muddy lakes, we have, again, deep clear lakes. So like, we have so many different types of fisheries back home, and maybe that's why. I mean,
is there one in common that you guys all fish? I mean, isn't Gustafson up by like the North Pole though?
Yeah, Gussie's he's 24 hours north of where I am. He's way north. He's way up there, but
are you close to where the Johnsons are?
Yeah, I'm within half hour, Chris and Corey.
All right. So is there some lake fishery up there that has multiple things that translate down south that we're just missing?
I wouldn't say one lake, but like, we just have a bunch of so for example, Lake Simcoe, it's a deep, clear water smallmouth fishery. And then, 30 minutes from Lake Simcoe, we have Lake Scugog, which is the deepest part of the lake's 13 feet, and it's almost like a mini Lake Okeechobee. It's muddy. It's got cane, pads, and it's got largemouth. It actually even has smallmouth in there. But
Mercer lives on Scugog, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he just built a house on Scugog.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so that's two different fisheries that kind of cover the gamut of. So is that why you're a lot of you guys seem comfortable in Florida?
Yeah. Like, we have a lot like, when I go to Florida, I've never really done that good in Florida, but when I go there, I feel like I'm at home out of most of the lakes I come down. Believe it or not, like, it feels more like home than anything else I've ever fished down in the States, for sure.
And then how close is Simcoe to, and what you do out there, to what you just did at Cherokee?
Not really that similar.
Okay.
Simcoe's like, if you want to win out there, you got to be fishing basically 8 feet and less, and you're looking at them.
Okay, so that was more. Do you do the same stuff on Ontario?
Yeah,
somewhat.
Yeah. There's some stuff I did this week that I definitely do out on Lake Ontario. If I were to compare Cherokee, probably be Lake Ontario, I guess, or similar but so different at the same time. But if I had to choose, it would be Lake Ontario.
All right. Let's get into this derby that you just won. You know, there's no secret on Cherokee that a Demiki rig. All right, let's clear this up here first of all. So, like, there was the chatterbait, and then it became the bladed jig. There was the Alabama rig, and then it became the umbrella rig. So, like, the Demiki rig, is there like a general term for the Demiki rig that people use? Am I missing that? Is it like a jig head, a jig minnow, a minnow jig? What's the generic term for the Demiki rig?
I honestly don't even know. I'll be honest with you, I don't do it a whole lot. Like, I just kind of started doing it in the last year or so. And but I don't know. I hear guys calling it moping and
That's a Gussie thing, right? Is that how you started it? Because when Gussie won?
hanging a minnow, Demiki. There's a few different ways to say it, but I just say, I don't even know what I say.
Hanging a minnow sounds like you're about to catch some crappie.
Yeah.
But so this is something new. This isn't like something that you consider yourself a guru at.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I'm not. No, I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've actually never caught a bass in a tournament on a Demiki rig in my life.
Before Cherokee. Really?
Yeah, honestly.
I've had this discussion before with guys. You know, they win at the tour level and they do it doing something crazy. And then, you know, they got Bassmaster articles or Major League Fishing articles, and everyone wants to come on and talk to them about it. You like get them a couple beers in at a hotel room at a tournament, and they'll be like, dude, I just did 9 articles on something that I won a tournament on, and I have no idea like what I did. Like, my buddy who's actually good at it told me about it, and I tried it and won on it, and now I'm like this expert at it according to everybody. And it's like, literally, I have never done it before, but now I'm an expert. But so that's kind of your deal. So what made you go and do that and not go crank, run up a river, throw a jerk bait, like just because of the homework that you'd done going into Cherokee?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I noticed that the fish were all on bottom, and I was catching a few on a drop shot as well, but they're eating the Demiki rig really good, and they were acting weird. Like, even on the drop shot, I was running a really long leader, and in practice, they'd like come up, and then they would like keep swimming up past the bait. So I would like bring the drop shot up to try and chase them. So I'm like, oh, I should probably just throw a Demiki and let them chase the Demiki. That way I've got more room with it and I can just fish it a little bit better. So started throwing the Demiki rig and they started eating it really good. So, and another thing with the Demiki is like every fish was different this week. Some fish would want the Demiki like half a foot off a boulder or off bottom. And then some would want it, 3-4 feet off bottom. So I was able to just move it through the column a lot easier and it'd look a lot better than a drop shot.
I fished that tournament, finished a stellar 69th. And I mean, I was out there in the middle looking for all those fish. I think the first 3 or 4 days of practice, I went out there, 3, I only practiced 4, but 3, and you're like, holy cow. Everyone's out here offshore. Everyone was staring at their electronics. Everyone was doing it. I got in. I put the boat in on Sunday, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of people out here. And then Monday, wow, there's still a lot of people, but not as many. And then Tuesday, you're like, there's quite a few people that have left it out there, like during the day, as you're running, not like look at where they're fishing, but you just notice tons of boats out there. But it seemed to get fewer and fewer and fewer as the tournament started. And then by tournament day, I would say maybe 20% of the guys who were out there for the first 2 or 3 days of practice had abandoned it and either ran up river or were fishing super shallow. What do you think it was that allowed you to be able to find the fish out there that so many guys missed?
A lot of the stuff I was fishing was super, like, very small stuff. For example, individual boulders, isolated boulders on a sand flat, noticeably bigger boulders on a gigantic rock flat. They're getting on these subtle little irregularities in some of the areas, and it was more of like a spot on a spot that I figured out, and it was a little bit more hidden than a lot of the obvious stuff. I had a lot of obvious stuff I fished as well, but I think that was the biggest thing, was just spot on spots and just them little irregularities that I think maybe some people missed.
Would you find those irregularities as you fished, or are you a big grapher, side imager, and would mark them and then come back and explore them later?
Exactly. Yeah, I put a lot of seat time. This week, I spent a lot of time behind the wheel, just looking around and just looking for those areas where they just kind of hold and get ready before they pulled up. Because I know they want to pull up, and I know throughout the tournament that's what was on their mind is they want to pull up. They're just waiting for the right time.
So you think that bite was, you caught the tail end of that Demiki bite on Cherokee? Like if it had been a week later, it would have been a totally different story. Or if we had not had a massive cold front, it would have been a different story.
Yeah, I think it'd go for a little bit longer. I don't think they'd all disappear right away. Like you'll still have a few fish out there. I don't think they're all going to move at the same time, but yeah, I don't think it'll last a whole lot longer. To be honest, I'm surprised it even lasted during the tournament. I thought I was going to have to switch things up big time.
Really? Bait-wise, did you throw a couple different minnow style baits?
Yeah, I threw a 4-inch fluke, and then I also drop shot a Deck Zone Hot Shot minnow. It's a brand new bait they just came out with. It's a lot.
You have
smaller.
some right there.
Yeah, I got some right here. It's a much smaller profile than the bigger fluke I was throwing, but I was getting on some.
There we go. Look at that.
It's a nice bait, man. It's super nice profile, super finessey. And when I'd get on a school of fish and I'd, catch say 8 or 10 and there was more down there and I couldn't get them to bite, I'd end up throwing this down there, especially on day 2. I really caught them on this on day 2. And
that tail probably is. You think that's the ticket? I mean, even when you're trying to dead stick that thing, it probably has some life in it.
Oh, absolutely. It floats. It stays perfectly horizontal in the water column, and which is super key. And they're eating it. It's good.
And that's not a bait fish color.
No, this is green pumpkin blue flake. I'm a big
really. What made you go with that?
I just started rolling with it in practice. This is like one of my favorite colors they make. I was catching them on a drop shot, and then I started putting it on a Demiki rig, and they're eating it. Even my 4-inch fluke I was throwing was like a shad green pumpkin. It wasn't like it was more of a green pumpkin than it was shad.
Nose hooked on the drop shot?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just use a nose. You're not like Texas rigging that with a little straight shank. You're just nose hooking it like a good Canadian angler would. I just say that. I drop shot everywhere. Like that's my jam. And the only time I use like a split shot drop shot hook is when I was up north. The rest of the time I'm 2/0 straight shank the entire time.
Yeah, it's a pretty
across
small,
the country. It's
a pretty small bait, so I mean, actually kind of looks bigger on here, but it's pretty small. So I mean, all you need is that a size 2 seems to work perfect on this, and they just eat it.
There you go. And then jig head wise, what were you pairing that and the 4-inch fluke with?
For the Demiki rig, it was a Smeltnator that Jamie Bruce and Brian Gustafson, they make them, and they're incredible.
I met Jamie.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he was pulled up next. I think, does he run a Lund or some aluminum, isn't it?
Yeah, he runs a Lund, same as Gussie.
Yeah. I was like, man, that's a nice looking Lund. And then he came down on day 2. And, you always just ask, oh, how'd it go yesterday? And everyone's like, it sucked. He was like, oh, I had 18. I was like, oh, well, dang. Nice job. He goes, what do I have to do to get on BTL? I was like, we'll get you on, man. And then he was like, hey, he's using my swim bait head. I said, really? Or Demiki head or moping head, hanging a minnow head, whatever kind of head, Smeltinator.
Yeah, they're good, man, and they're just super detailed and good. They got good colors and they got eyes. I love eyes, especially when I'm smallmouth fishing. I don't know if it's a confidence thing, but those eyes, I feel like I get more bites having those eyes on the bait.
So you think that really? You think they target the bait better, or you think you said you get more bites with eyes? Really?
I think I do, especially with something like a Demiki or a drop shot where you're fishing super slow and they're just staring at it. When they really key in on it, I think it makes a difference. I think it's more for me and just a confidence thing. But
how long were you having to mess with these fish before they'd eat? You said you'd pull them off the bottom, and you said they'd follow it, and you went with the Demiki. I mean, are you sitting there looking at your electronics, yo-yoing up and down like 20, 30 seconds of fish, or the ones that committed, would they kind of come up, pause, and then smash it?
Yeah, I'd say 80% of them, they'd come up and they'd eat it pretty quick. I'd just be sitting there and they'd thunk it pretty quick. And I'd say about 20% of them, it would take me a good minute anyway for me to get them to bite. They'd circle around it, go back to bottom. I'd drop back to them and then just change it up a little bit. And a lot of them I didn't even get to bite. A lot of them were being super stubborn. But
How many did you catch a day? Be honest.
A lot.
You're not going to hurt my feelings. How many did you catch a day?
I caught 30 day one.
Oh, my gosh.
And then probably over 40 on day 2.
Oh, my gosh. Are you serious?
My co-angler said he stopped on day 2. He stopped counting when I was at 22, and it was 9:30.
Well, thanks for joining me on BTO. We'll talk to you. That's impressive as heck, dude.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that many bites, man. Like, I knew I was on some good schools, but I didn't think I was going to be able to catch that many in a school. Like, I thought.
And you couldn't see the schools ever. They were always just on the bottom.
They were all on bottom. But once I'd catch one, the school would come up, say about 10 of them, and you'd see them. And then they would all, like, you'd land the fish, get it in the live, will go back, and you wouldn't see them anymore. They'd be back down on bottom. Instantly, I'd drop down, and they would rise up off bottom.
So were you catching some like multiple drops in a row? Like, oh, there's a good one, drop back down, another one, eat it. Like, once you got them fired up, did it seem like you could keep them going? And you're dropping vertically on them.
Yeah, right on top.
Yeah, because, I mean, the thing going into Cherokee was, hey, you got to pitch to these fish. They're used to the forward-facing sonar. They're not even the Demiki rig is good. You can't catch them on a drop shot. You have to pitch a super light Demiki, float it down to them, flutter it past them, and then you might get 1 out of 10 to bite. And you're like, no, I'll catch them on a drop shot and still vertically drop on them and catch 50 a day.
I mean, when I came here, I'm like, holy, this water is this muddy for this lake?
I don't know. That's the first time. I think it had a lot more color in it because it rained so much, yeah. and then it dropped 4 foot, and then it dropped 10 degrees too, in the week before we got there.
It seemed pretty colored up, so I figured I was able to get on top of them, and it didn't seem to bug them or anything. So I don't know.
That's phenomenal. So are you like elite series or bus? Was your goal coming into this year to fish in a classic, to fish in the elite series? Like, are you fishing all 9 of them? Like, what's the end game this year?
Yeah.
Or have you already accomplished it?
To be completely honest, classic throughout this season wasn't even on my mind. I'll be straight up honest with you. It's a bonus if it ever does happen, but that was not on my mind. The elites is 100% all that's on my mind throughout this season.
So last year was, I think, 43rd. You had to finish 42nd or 43rd maybe to make it. Over the last 2 years, if you combine it, to finish in the top 3. Because I've done the numbers on this. So it was 8 tournaments a couple years ago, 9 tournaments last year, and then 9 tournaments this year. But because they're taking the double qualifiers, well, selfishly, I hope you go up and absolutely obliterate them on Hartwell, because then that would be a double qualifier. You'd get in through the Northerns, but I'm thinking you need to average a 45th place finish this year to make it in the overall to the elites. But your options are all still open. I mean, you've got all 3 of the divisions. You're still alive in the Southerns, and you're in good shape in the overall. You numbers guy? Do you know all this stuff already, or do you just go out and fish?
Yeah, I have an idea. That's what I figured. Like I've been told, like, if you basically cash a check in every tournament, you'll probably make it, and then if you want to make it through a division, you basically need 3 top 20s to have a shot, from what I understand.
What do you think all these like 20 to 25-year-old kids are just crushing it this year and the last year? The last like 2 or 3 years, there's been a handful. You know, you take like an Andy Loberg, a Shakuret, Cody Huff. Like, there's just a bunch of these guys, and they're absolutely dominating. Yeah,
it's amazing, man. I mean, and I think it's good for the sport as well, especially the younger generation, seeing that these 25-year-olds are making the elite series like Cody Huff and all of them. And I think it's amazing for the sport. It inspires other kids like myself. And I mean, when I was growing up and I'd see younger guys make the elites, that just fueled the fire for me even more.
Interesting. sponsorship wise, you have a very big like you've got a very professional website. You have an incredibly up to date social media and YouTube and stuff. I mean, it seems like you have all of your stuff together, like it's all part of a big package for you. But the social media aspect, the YouTube aspect, seems really important.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I don't think I know I wouldn't be where I am today without YouTube and all that. And I enjoy it, man. I love it. Growing up, we used to snowboard and skateboard, and we used to film doing that, and we kind of just took it into fishing, and I really enjoy it, especially for events like this that I get to film and look back on when I'm older. It's awesome, and I love the whole editing part of it as well. I actually just finished the video from Cherokee. It's actually right after I get off with you. I'm gonna post it. So
you're an animal. Really? You won? You drove to the James, and you have the whole video edited already?
Yeah, 30-minute film. I was on the computer for about 11 hours yesterday, but it's all done.
Dude, you're a beast. You don't have anyone doing your editing or anything. You a PC or a Mac guy?
I'm a Mac guy.
Oh, I'm PC.
Yeah. But no, I figured I'd get it done, because if I didn't get it done yesterday, it probably wouldn't get done for months. So
yeah,
I banged it out, and I'm gonna post it here in the next hour, and I want to start getting on the James here soon. So I wanted to make sure I got it done.
You're gonna be out there today then?
No, I won't be out there for a couple
tomorrow.
Days.
That's gonna be a banger, isn't it?
What's that?
Like good.
The James?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Like, I think it's going to be really good, dude.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to it. Complete opposite from what we just did on Cherokee, but...
You fished it last year, right?
Yeah.
Had you ever fished I would assume that'd have to be like one of your first tidal river fisheries on the... Like, there's not really that option up in Canada.
Yeah, I've done Winyah Bay.
Oh, that's a joy, isn't it?
I've done Potomac a couple times, and then James last year and James again this year.
You're an old pro on tidal river fisheries then. Never mind.
No, I was just going to say I have lots to learn, because it is so tough, and I get more comfortable every time I come down here, but man, what a grind. I have a lot to learn, but that's what I love about the sport.
It was worth coming on BTL this morning, Coop. You got a new subscriber in Jim.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim.
Hey, there was also a question earlier, and we will get one question in, and then we'll let you get back to editing, and we'll get to Glenn Walker and Adam Bartusek to talk about the St. Jude Classic, Bass Classic coming up. But what is the shallowest, since now you are an expert in hanging a minnow and Demiki rigging, question came across the board, what is the shallowest that works? How shallow can you fish that?
The shallowest I caught one this week on the Demiki was 17 feet.
That's fairly deep still.
Yeah. So
no casting. Just all drop.
No, I caught one of my biggest ones on day one. I caught on a swim bait up in like 6 to 8 feet. Caught a few on a swim bait up shallow, but most of the damage was on the Demiki.
Last couple of questions. Did you think you had it won when you weighed in?
No, I still thought there was a chance that I did not win.
But you knew there was a pretty good chance.
Yeah. When I was on the water, I thought I needed 19.
Do you feel like you got shafted that it was a 2-day tournament and everyone fished it, and then at the end they just handed you the trophy? You didn't get the experience. I know you fished a final day before, but like that, I told Brad Hallman going into day 2, I was like, man, some guys not going to really care because he's going to get the money in the trophy, but like kind of get robbed out of like the whole day 3 with all the coverage and the 10 guys and that.
Yeah, no, I was actually talking to my dad about it yesterday. I wish it was a 3-day tournament. I mean, I can't complain. I won the thing, but
you'd have won it by like way more, even if probably on day 3. If you're catching 40 a day on every drop, just chucking threes back, not even weighing them.
There's something special about fishing on the final day for sure. But I mean, like I said, I can't complain, and I'm thankful how it all went down.
Cooper, anything else you want to get in here? This is your chance to like just pimp sponsors. You want to talk about live rods, reels, any of that stuff?
Yeah, just a big thanks to all my sponsors. Appreciate it big time. Means the world. Thank you, Matt, and everyone for watching. And make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram at Cooper Gallant Fishing. Appreciate it big time, guys. And thanks again for having me on, Matt.
Thanks, Cooper. I will be watching that video when it drops later today, right?
Yeah, in the next hour, she'll be up.
You're the man. Congrats on the win. I will see you at the James River, and congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
All right, see you. That was Cooper Gallant. He's got his act together as a 24-year-old. Hey, we're going to take a break on BTL on a Tuesday, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Dick Hiley Bass Classic benefiting St. Jude, the 24th annual one on the, I think it's the Mississippi River. Yeah, it's the Mississippi. Shake your head, Adam. Is it the Mississippi River? Yeah, it's the Mississippi River up there. All right, we'll be back. It's BTL on a Tuesday.
Bigger and better. The Lowrance Ultimate Fishing System upgrade now offers more. A new $200 rebate on active target live sonar and bigger savings with up to $1,200 cash back. Pick fish finding tools to fit the way you fish. From high-performance sonar and ultra-quiet ghost trolling motor to navigation and networking tools that bring it all together. Find more, see more, catch more.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
I've made my living on the water for over 20 years.
For 14 years.
For over 23 years.
I've worn a bunch of different clothing brands over the years.
Some companies big.
And some companies small.
All of them said they were making clothing for us.
But none of them knew us.
None of them were us. Except for one.
Except for one.
Except one.
AFCO.
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 Fishing isn't part of us. It is us.
The KVD 100 jerkbait. 15 different colors. A perfect combination of roll, wiggle, and flash. Increased castability. 3D eyes. Premium black nickel hooks. KVD. Tie one on. Striking lures.
Are you looking to install your own fishing electronics? Well, the Bass Tank is here to help you. The solution is the Bass Tank Power Harness. It takes the guesswork out of installation. No more voltage issues or interference. Designed by an engineer so that you can get professional results right there in your own garage. Installation done right with the help of the Bass Tank Power Harness. You can feel confident knowing that your installation was done right. The Bass Tank Power Harness. Give us a call or order yours today at thebasstank.com.
Get the best patterns backed by tournament data. Start by finding the best 10% of your lake. Know exactly what to look for and what to throw. After that, just put them in the boat. Try the Deep Dive app today.
Get that beast right there.
Elite Series Pro Daryl Gleason here. My Pro Guide batteries keep me going on those long tournament days and long practice days. Always plenty of juice, never fail. The best part about Pro Guide batteries, it's the people behind the company. They have over 40 years experience in the battery business, keeping all of us fishermen out on the water longer, catching more fish. Check them out at ProGuideBatteries.com.
What's up, Bass Talk Live fans? Brandon Polnick here. And ever since I won a couple Bassmaster Elite Series events on X-Zone Lures, I've been getting a bunch of questions of what makes them so special and different. And really, the truth is, it's in the details. The little details, things like no cheap fillers in their plastic. That gives you more lifelike action, more realistic and vibrant colors. But don't just take my word for it. Go to www.xzonelures.com and check them out for yourself.
Welcome back. It is BTL on a Tuesday. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening live, I got a chuckle during the break while I was running the ads there. Before the show started, Mark came into the studio, and he had to pick up like 3 racks of bowling balls that he was taking to go practice. I said, how's the bowling going, Mark? He said, dude, he goes, I practiced with the Hall of Famer yesterday, taught me this new strategy. He's like, I'm rolling it really good. And I said, what did he teach you? And he grabbed one of my pages of notes for the show. If you see, I've got all these notes. And it reminded me of one of Uncle Frank's sketches. I'll see if I can get it really close here. That is the sketch that Mark drew me. That is the drill that Mark was practicing. And I just feel like that's a Picasso right there. It's got a triangle, some scribbles, an arrow, some lines that roll through it, and I still have absolutely no idea what the drill was. But, hey, if you've been wondering what Mark's up to, he's been bowling really well. I think he got third this past weekend, too. But this is a really cool event that is coming up, and Adam Bartusek, if you remember the Crappie Chronicles, I went up to Minnesota last winter, not this winter, the winter before, and I'd never ice fished. Put me on some ice fish, some crappie, some bluegill. They really like their panfish up there. I caught a couple bass, a little bitty walleye. It was fun, but this Crappie Chronicles thing took off. Adam's in the independent media business too. He also fished the Bassmaster Opens last year. He was going to fish them this year, and then he was like, dude, I could make way more money doing the independent media thing. I think he just got a new gig. But anyway, he's like, hey, there's this event, this big team tournament event for St. Jude's that's coming up. Would you like to fish it? And I was like, man, I'm fishing all 9 opens. Well, it just worked in the schedule that it's a little bit of a week after the Ross Barnett Open. So I'm going to go from Mississippi up to the Mississippi River in Minnesota and fish this. But it's really cool, and the more I learned about it, the more I realized this is like a really big tournament in Minnesota, and over the past 23 years, it's raised more than $5 million for St. Jude. So got a couple of guests coming on. We'll bring Adam in right now. What's up?
How's it going, dude? Nice to see you.
I'm good. Did you know that Cooper had never Demiki rigged before he won that Derby?
No. But dude,
I thought that was his thing. Like everyone was like, "Oh yeah, well no, they're the Canadians, and that's what they do it up there." And then he was like, "No man, I'd never done it before."
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Like literally crazy. But also like there aren't a lot of circumstances where you really do catch them on a Demiki really well, so you don't really get to practice it a ton. I feel like
Table Rock, man. The last couple years, I've crushed him on Table Rock.
Okay,
and I think with the forward-facing sonar, they're finding there's a lot more applications for it. Because in all theory, if you get it vertically under them, if you think about it, it's basically a jerkbait that you can fish up to 30 foot deep. Suspending jerkbait, because you have the horizontal presentation, lifelike. You can fish a small bait, get it deep, very efficient.
Yeah.
You saw what Michael Neal did it on Grand. He was throwing that big bite swimmer head with the jointed jerkman, a little 3.5 inch, same thing, just different brands. And I mean, he almost won Red Crest on it. I
just can't believe how deep he was catching them still down there. Like that they were still patrolling out there. I know.
Well, down lake it was 51 degree water in the mornings, so it wasn't like it was frozen. I was gonna bring Glenn in, and then Glenn's no longer at his chair.
Oh, I can text Glenn.
No, he's good. He'll hear it. He'll come back in. But we'll talk with you though. But this is kind of a deal that you're very familiar with. This tournament, this Dick Hiley St. Jude Bass Classic, and you were like, hey man, you want to fish it? And then the more I found out about it, the more I realized how much good the Minnesota anglers are doing for a really good cause, and have been doing it for almost a quarter of a century now.
Yeah, man, this tournament's like super cool. I think what's really cool about it is the time of year they have it is, so it's in the spring, and everyone knows we have ice for like 5 or 6 months. So it's kind of the first big tournament every year, and you get to raise a bunch of money for St. Jude's. 2-a-day event, all that fun. So yeah.
We'll bring Glenn in because Glenn knows a lot more. What's up, Glenn?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Doing good. Kind of break it down, Glenn. You are on the committee, one of the 10 people on the committee for this tournament, and have been for the past decade, correct?
Correct. Yep. I've been fishing the tournament since 2010. 2010, I believe, was my first year fishing the tournament, and then I've been on the committee since 2012. So, yep, I've been on the committee for 10 years, and yeah, it's just a big passion of mine, and yeah, something I really enjoy. Putting some hours into to just helping the event be a success.
We have a lot of Minnesota anglers that listen to BTL, a lot of northern anglers. We have also a lot of anglers in the south, and even though it's a big deal up there, like it's kind of weird. There's like little sectional stuff. So like big tournaments down the south you guys haven't heard of. And then you go up north and you're like, oh, we've got these team championships and this type of stuff, and the anglers down south haven't heard of it. But just kind of, like I said, break down exactly what it is and how big it is to the fishing community in Minnesota and those kind of northern area.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, like kind of as Adam said, being that our springs, vary, when the season kicks off. So, I mean, Wisconsin just, I think last year or the year before finally opened their, bass fishing season where it could be catch and release prior to the opener. Guys down south aren't familiar, they're like, you guys have opener? Like, what's that? And so, yeah, Wisconsin, now you can fish bass, catch and release from as soon as the ice goes off until the first Saturday in May. And then that's when you can do, people can catch, keep them if they want. And that's when tournaments can start. In Minnesota, we still have a season where you can fish for bass legal in May, and then it's catch and release for a couple weeks, and then it opens up the Saturday of Memorial Weekend. So really the only body of water prior to all those changes that you could bass fish legally was the Mississippi River. Being it's a border water, it's open all season long legally. And so really, so the St. Jude has always been kind of the inaugural kickoff to bass fishing season, and more specifically tournament bass fishing in the Midwest, predominantly Minnesota and Wisconsin, just because that's all guys could really do. And so it's just a great opportunity for anglers. I mean, we have anglers coming down that have fished the event since its inception, that come down from northern Minnesota. They're up, from Brainerd, Walker, northern Minnesota. We have guys coming over from the east side of Wisconsin, guys that come up from northern Illinois, guys that are coming over, up from Iowa. So it kind of brings the Midwest bass anglers together for an event. And obviously everyone loves to fish. But raising money for
We'll get you back here in a second. We had a minor glitch, but I think we got the gist of it. Am I going to be the farthest angler traveling from Oklahoma?
Okay.
Am I going to be the farthest traveling from Oklahoma?
So, yep. I mean,
is there a prize for that?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think we've ever had anyone from Oklahoma. Jacob Wheeler fished it.
Oh,
a couple
wow.
years ago. So
that's
Indiana.
Tennessee, Indiana. It depends on where he was from. Wait, let me see. Has Austin Felix fished it before?
No, I don't think Austin has ever fished it. Seth has fished it a couple
Seth Fighter,
years.
Angler of the Year. So this is a big deal in Minnesota.
Yep. I mean, I believe Josh Douglas has fished it back, before he started doing the
Before
opens
he was big
and,
time.
And the FLW tour. So yeah, I mean, if you go back and look through the archives of tournament results, you're gonna
we're getting most
names,
of it.
Then you'll see a lot of guys' names that are are real perennial anglers in the Midwest, and then you have a strong contingent of river rat anglers. Guys like Brent Hames. Obviously, he's gone on and fished the Bassmasters Classic through the Federation. Jimmy Johnson, Bassmaster Classic qualifier. A lot of strong anglers that, have come from the Midwest are, river rats, and, really their season kicks off with the St. Jude.
Hey, Adam, I never even asked you. Do you catch them in this thing? Because you fished it before. I haven't looked at the results. You claim that we're going to catch them, but how have you fared in the Derby over the years?
Well, I think the last time I fished it was 4 years ago, Glenn.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah,
I think so.
I won the major move or whatever their way of saying it
Is that the one where you suck one day and then you're really good the next day and you
Yeah, I had
salvage?
like 15 and a half the first day, and then I had like 22 and a half or 23.
Oh, so this is like big weights then. This isn't like 12 to 14.
No, yeah, it kind of depends
Just
on the
depends.
year, but based on when our ice is getting off, I think it's going to be pretty big weights this year.
All right. There's a video that explains more about this. It's only 3.5 minutes long. It's really well done. Did you do this, Adam?
No, that wasn't me.
No, it's very well done. I think Glenn might even be featured in this video.
I think you get the privilege of seeing my face.
If it is so
early in the morning.
This is just a little recap of it. So here we go.
Good last name? Peter.
St. Jude means the world to me. You know, this tournament has been a labor of love of mine for 22 years now. You can go do so much good for kids that you'll never meet.
I think the anglers have realized that it's more than just a fishing tournament. It's for a great cause.
Because of you, St. Jude won't stop until no child dies from cancer.
All the money that we raise is going to help them with everything from their treatments to their travel expenses, their food expenses. The patients are never seeing a bill for anything.
Come to love St. Jude because of the care that they provided to my son, as a patient.
There's no other tournament that I know of in the country that raises the amount of money that this tournament does. And it's not the tournament that raises the money, it's the actual anglers.
It's a great event. It's a lot of fun. It's one of the premier team tournaments in Minnesota, and it supports a great cause, and that's why I'm here.
Guys use to help raise every single possible dollar for the kids of St. Jude. It's so it's a real fun thing that pushes people to help out such a great organization.
I just can't imagine what it would be like if one of my daughters got sick. It's bad enough that a family would have to worry about a disease like cancer, let alone. And what St. Jude does, just no family pays a dime, is just incredible.
The cooperation, the attention to detail, the professionalism, the hard work that all comes together to make this event special is really fun to be a part of.
These anglers raised over $500,000 for St. Jude this year alone. Don't give it up.
It's a super upbeat place. People love the Mississippi River, and it's a beautiful place to come have a tournament.
They've all become like family, both on the St. Jude side as well as the angler side, and it's just a different, lighthearted feeling than I've seen in any other tournament on the water.
You're defending these kids in the darkest days of their lives, and it just means a lot.
There is no way I can pay St. Jude back for what they have given me. And that's the gift of life. This is how I can come back and give to such a great organization.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was well done. That was really well done.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that video was put together at last year's event, and kind of as Adam alluded to, varying on the spring dictates the fishing. And last year was a very nice spring. Fishing was on the incline. Now there have been years. I think it was in 2016 maybe, where during practice of the St. Jude, all anglers were pre-fishing in an actual blizzard. So not just saying I fished in a blizzard with some snow flurries flying. The Rochester, Minnesota area, western Wisconsin was actually under a blizzard warning during practice. And yeah, I mean, guys were, couldn't get their boats in the water because the ramps were covered in snow and ice. They couldn't get to the, some places the interstates and highways were shut down because of actual blizzard. And yeah, water temps, I think, dropped about 8 degrees from practice down to day one. And on day one of the tournament, there's a pretty cool photo of all the boats in there in the harbor, and on the grass, and you don't see grass, it is literally snowbanks. So I'm not scaring you away, and Adam will still have a partner, but it's not always that sunny, sunny, warm picture. Sometimes we get some inclement weather, just being it's spring in the Midwest, but that just really shows the passion and commitment of the anglers fishing this event, because they know that depending on the year, the fishing could be tough, the water could be cold. We've had high water years, unfortunately, and we've had to postpone one year because high water basically plagued the Mississippi River all season long. We could never reschedule it. And then we had to move the event in 2020 to the fall. But still, I mean, everyone comes out with a smile and is committed to, helping raise dollars for St. Jude.
Good stuff. Let's get down to the business then. One thing is, and I'm probably speaking out of turn here, but just live with it, Adam. I'm putting a little faith in you here. I mean, do we want to challenge Glenn's team to the highest finishing team gets to pick a lure out of the other guy's boat?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do
Glenn
that.
does pretty well normally. We'll do.
Okay.
I think we'll do pretty well.
We have to put a couple things off limits: no glide baits and no original wiggle warts.
Okay.
But other than that, any other? Is there like some crazy lure up there in Minnesota that's like impossible to get that you'd be like, oh, I'll take that?
No, a pike.
Whirly spinner.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take that crawler harness.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as Adam said, if you have a prize lure in the boat, pike's likely going to get it anyway.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that is. Okay, so we got that out of the way, and then part of the reason I wanted to have you guys on is the fundraising for this is unique because the anglers, every team is raising money for St. Jude. And 100% of that money that they raise then goes to St. Jude, and you have to raise at least $500 to even compete in the tournament, correct?
Yep, yeah. Correct.
And then based on how much more you raise, and there's different ways you could do it. If you're loaded, you could just write a $20,000 check and be like, hey, I raised $20,000. You could have your friends and family do it. You could sell stuff. Adam and I created a T-shirt for BTL that's now available, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But based on how much you raise, that kind of tiers up as to how much you can win in the event, and that's how they get to, I think, what Fat Cat said last year, over $500,000 raised for St. Jude. But that's a kind of a cool aspect of it because it also affects your boat draw, which is an incentive to raise money for St. Jude.
Yeah.
Yep. So what happens is, correct. So yeah, $500 is the minimum fundraising amount. And then to hit the first multiplier for increased payouts is $1,500. So when a team wins the event, and if they happen to fundraise, between that $500 and $1,499, they'll win $5,000 for first place. When they hit that $1,500 fundraising amount, their first place prize goes up to $7,500. And then back in 2020, when it was our 20th anniversary of the event, the payout increased to $20,000 for first place, but teams had to fundraise a minimum of $5,000. And we've kept that in place since. And I don't foresee us going back on that because so many teams have gone that extra mile to go from, in the past, if they've been locked in at, $3,500, $4,000, whatever it may be, they'll go that extra mile to get that $5,000 fundraising amount, which is great because every single dollar, again, is going back to the kids of St. Jude. And then there is that carrot out there to have a $20,000 payday, which, for guys down south, $20,000 team tournament, that's, not uncommon. But up here in the Midwest, $20,000 payout for team tournaments is a big deal. And like you said, for the boat position, the top 10 teams are locked each day for takeoff. So if first place fundraises. I think this year the first place team is probably going to be right around $100,000 for that first spot, and 10th spot typically.
Wait, say that again.
$100,000 for first place.
That's what one 2-person team will raise.
Yep. Yeah. The first place team last year, they were at 96,000, and they made a very strong commitment and basically said we're going to hit 100. So that
wasn't really going to hard sell the charity T-shirts, but after hearing that, I might do like a whole 5-minute segment on it now.
Yep. And then if that 10th place team fundraise, then goes down the line, and if 10th place is, let's just say, typically 10th place is right around that $10,000 mark.
Okay, that's more real. That's within reach.
Yep. And then so those top 10 teams are locked in both days for takeoff. So the boats 1 through 10 go out 1 through 10 on day one. And that's a day one boat position is based on fundraising. So 1 through 75, 80, how many of your boats we end up at will go out in order of their fundraising total. Day 2, 1 through 10 still go out 1 through 10. Doesn't matter if you're in first, second, third, or in last. If you fundraise, in the top 10, you're going out 1 through 10 on day 2. And then after that, then it goes out by order of your finish on day 2. So yes, there is, some definite benefit, to fundraise well, because that's your order on day 1. And if you fundraise very well, you're going to go out in the, 1 through 10 on both days.
All right. Awesome. So that leads it to, like I said, the fundraiser for St. Jude. Big shout out to ATS Printing for doing this on rapid notice. Also Jordan for helping kind of come up with the phrase "Bass Fishing Saves Lives," and then Adam for putting all this together while I was struggling to catch bass at Lake Cherokee. But if you go to basszone.com, which is the parent site, there's a big banner at the top. So when Jeffries did the site, I always felt like he kind of buried important banners. So I made it like 900 by 400. It's giant. There's 3 T-shirts there. It says the fundraiser for St. Jude. If you just click on that link, it takes you directly to the BTL merch store. Now, for these 3 T-shirts, the St. Jude fundraiser T-shirts, all of the profits, 100% of the profits for that are going to the St. Jude. This is how Adam and I are raising money for our team. This is our contribution, our donation through the people. And I know how many people have ordered BTL merch in the past. Massive support. They have helped me get through the Opens the last couple of years on the merch side, and I am eternally grateful for that and will be. But if you've ordered it, $20 for these jerseys, soft cotton tees, one time only, and the store is only open through the 15th because we're doing all the orders through the 15th, and then all that money is going straight, all the profits from that going straight to St. Jude's to count towards Adam and I's donation to St. Jude's to compete in this tournament. Then the T-shirts will be made, sent out a week after, just like we did when the merch, even though the merch store is open now, but just these T-shirts are the ones where 100% of the profit goes to, or of the profit goes to St. Jude's. Has a little deal up there raised. Hey, we raised $100 over the past day and didn't even say anything about it, Bart. Look at that. We're up to $115. So there's two options here. If you are not a fan of T-shirts and you just want to donate directly, you can click on that same link that says it, and underneath it says, purchase a BTL St. Jude fundraiser T-shirt to help us support the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. If you want to help more than simply purchasing a shirt, you can donate directly to the cause here. So if you wanted to donate, say, $97,000 so Bart and I could be the #1 takeoff boat, that would probably be the link to click. Because that's a lot of T-shirts at $20 a pop. But like I said, if you want to donate that way, 100% of that goes to St. Jude. If you want the T-shirt, one-time only T-shirt with the St. Jude logo, BTL, Bass Fishing Saves Lives in 2022 underneath it. There's three different options there, and I guess that is my request, our plea to help St. Jude's, an organization that has helped so many, and then the 24-year history of this Dick Hiley St. Jude Bass Classic that Adam and I will be fishing the first week of May.
Yeah.
Did I leave anything out, Bart?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not really. I was just going to touch on, with the shirt design, I just want to give a major shout out to a guy Glenn and I both know, Dan Fabiano, for the design.
So it was a dual deal. So Jordan came up with the saying, and then Dan like put it together in the logo deal because that's what both of them do.
Yeah, and Dan's an awesome guy to work with. Glenn and I both work with him up here for tournament jerseys, for like the Champions Tour and stuff. If any high schools or anything like that need like a bunch of jerseys ordered, Dan's a guy to reach out to. Arsenal Customs. He does a fantastic job and he's really professional. So reach out to him. But yeah, for fundraising for the shirt, just like Panger said, if you want to get a shirt and maybe you want to donate more, you totally can click that link. Glenn, they're like, for businesses or anything with that donation as well, like there's forms for tax forms and everything as well, correct?
Correct. Yep. Yeah. All donations are 100% tax deductible. And yeah, like the guys are saying, the easiest way to make that donation is go to their fundraising page and hit the donate link, enter in all your information and you can print your receipt off right there. If there are any businesses interested, in sponsorships, for the event, if they're looking to get some increased exposure, reach out to the guys and then they can get in touch with me. We have a great group of sponsors for the event. Trokar, Seagar, Omnia Fishing, Bagley Baits, Wenzel's Farm, Classic Bass, Real Live Well app. Yeah, those are just some of the ones that I can hit off the top of my head. But yeah, so no, real great support from the industry. We appreciate it. And yeah, so if anyone's looking for, exposure, we would love to have you involved with the Dick Hiley.
Awesome.
Yeah, and your donations will go directly to Matt having to throw a Carolina rig in a tournament to do well. So, yeah. I mean, that's also part of it because that's going to be a big player. More likely.
Now I'm gonna show you that any fish you can catch on a Carolina rig, you can catch on either a biffle bug or a short leader drop shot.
I think you're going to be very blown away.
and I think your eyes are going to be open to the options other than the ball and chain. We're not catfishing. We're not out there trying to catch 4-pound channel. What, should I bring the chicken liver?
Hey, the biggest bag I've ever weighed in on the Mississippi River and that tournament was on a biffle head or a swing head, but I'm telling you, the sea rig is way more reliable.
I guess we'll see. But anyway, that's it. I will, Bart and I will have the link to the BTL St. Jude fundraiser shirt on both of our social media pages. After the show, I will put it up on the YouTube page as well. But just go to basszone.com and you see the big fundraiser for St. Jude logo there. And click on that, and that'll take you directly to the T-shirt. So 10 days to go on that, so get your shirts ordered. Like I said, the store closes on that, just on that T-shirt. That's a one-time only T-shirt, and they will ship out on April 29th. I'll also throw in a little bonus there, since they ship out April 29th, and the tournament is like the 5th through the 7th, I believe. If you buy a shirt and then email me a picture of you wearing that shirt when I get back from that tournament, I'll take everybody who tags me wearing that shirt in social media. If you post it on your Instagram, on Facebook or anything like that, and tag me in that, I'll throw in the rod that I will be drop shotting on the Mississippi River with, which is the 7.4 Denali Lithium Pro, the medium heavy spinning rod that I've caught 80% of my fish in the opens over the last 2 years on. Also throw in a bulk spool of Sunline shooter, 660-yard shooter in that too. Unopened, unused. And an unused rod too, a brand new rod. Neither of it will be used and it'll actually get shipped out on time.
That's good. That's good. And Glenn, our goal should be what? $10,000 for a top 10 boat draw? That's what we want. I want to.
Yeah, I would say typically the 10 spots usually right around that 10,000, give or take. Give or take, $1,000, $1,200. Yep, somewhere right around there.
All right, perfect. Well, I think that's realistic, Panger. You think that's realistic?
Yeah, I would hope so. I think so. I mean, I was a little, I kind of figure we won't be boat one after $100,000 usually is what takes the cake.
Yeah.
Is that the same guy every year?
The last couple years, yes, I believe Jamie Gibson is his name. And I apologize, I'm drawing a blank on his partners.
Lonnie?
Is it Sam Walton?
But they've been the top fundraiser, I think, for this will be their third or fourth year, I believe. So,
Well, kudos to them, because if that's it, that's almost just on that team, almost probably over $250,000.
Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah. You kind of see this. The teams that have, have a program put together. Kind of like you guys talked about. Everyone does different. Whether it's just sending out emails and calling your friends and family, making social media posts. We have a lot of teams that run side events. So whether that's dinners at at their local bar, restaurant, where they have people come in, buy a plated dinner. Buy drinks, and then the proceeds of that go to their fundraising campaign, silent auctions, raffles, a lot. And like what you guys are doing with the t-shirts is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that
What are you doing? How are you raising it for your team, Glenn?
Yep.
This is actually a really good shout out for Glenn.
Well, I know we're kind of in it. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to bring it up because we're in competition, but I don't care. The money all goes to the same thing. So if you've taken a liking to Glenn during the interview, what's your deal?
Sure. So my big thing is, I think probably for 8 years now, I've been really fortunate, through friends that I've met, and then also through work in the industry, have gotten to know a lot of guys on the Elite Series, on the FLW, or Major League Fishing, whatever you want to call it. And so I've worked with a lot of those guys in having them donate their jerseys after the season. They autograph it. And then I auction those off basically starting in November, December, and then all the way through about now. So auction those off on eBay, and all the proceeds from those auctions go to my fundraising campaign. And with that, I think right now in just the jersey auctions, we're going to be able to have about $12,000 coming from those auctions. And so, I mean, that's what I've done. And I can't thank the pro anglers, in the Elite Series, MLF, Bass Pro, all those guys for taking the time, to sign the jersey, get them to me.
Yeah.
And then, they just don't send them off and then forget about it. I'll send them a note, say, hey, appreciate it. Your jersey's live. And they'll post it on their social media. They'll throw it up in their story. They really, help out with it, which is great.
So you take the
right
big
now,
league route. You big league everywhere.
Yep,
with the
yeah,
route.
that's it's a way that I feel that those guys, they get, they have, they go through, they're busy. They may not be able to devote a lot of time sometimes to things that they are passionate about, but being able to just, quick sign a jersey, get it off, they're able to help out, what I mean? For example, Jacob Wheeler's jersey this year was our top seller, went for over $2,000.
Holy cow. Is it over? Like people can't bid on them anymore? Like if you're watching this and wanted to bid on it, can they?
Yep. Those are done. So right now, the final two auctions, as it sits now, I may have a few more jerseys coming, but right now as it sits, we have Randall Tharp, the Honey Badger jersey live, and then Terry Bolton. So those two jerseys are up. You can check. They're posted on my social media, Glenn Walker Fishing. So yeah, those are still up for auction. Randall's ends here on Thursday, and then Terry's and on Sunday night. But yeah, no, it's great, and I can't thank the guys enough. They've all, they're all super supportive. I do want to give a big shout out to Brent Ayler. He's helped me a lot over the last couple of years in kind of getting connected with additional guys every year, just because every year I keep wanting to raise the bar, and my personal fundraising goal, and getting more guys involved. I've had Bass has reached out last year. Major League Fishing has reached out to kind of get some information for articles on their anglers, contributing and helping out. And so yeah, I just can't thank the anglers and the organizations enough, because it really is a team effort in helping fundraising for this event. So yeah,
I'm looking at your site now. Yeah, you've got all sorts of jerseys. So I'm looking at this now. Like I said, Jeffries he's retired. He's done. So I've got his first pair of skates from when he was 3 years old. We might be able to auction that. I've got a picture of him and his son with the Stanley Cup. I'm looking behind here. There's the first bowling ball that he bowled 300 with. We can auction that off. The custom painted spooks from Uncle Frank, the labeled 1 and 2, we can auction that off. And his college baseball glove, I think that might as well go as well too. So I don't think he'd even notice those things were gone.
No,
Yeah.
and kind of along that, one of the cool items we just did ended here on Sunday night was a signed turkey call from a Nightingale turkey call signed by Harold Knight and David Hale. So for turkey hunters out there, that was a pretty cool item that we just
Are
got
they
done
turkey
auctioning
gurus?
off. What's that?
Is that a bad question? I'm not a versed in the turkey call world. Are they like the KVD of the turkey call
Yeah,
world?
yep. So they're the founder. They created the calls, and yeah. So I'm sure many of your listeners will hear that and be like, oh, that would have been cool. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of just cool opportunities that I've people that I network with and talk to, and any way I can kind of see if there's an opportunity to help just raise funds. Just look for that opportunity.
Do you have one there? Do you have one of the turkey calls in the office?
I don't. I'm not a hunter myself, but yeah, I've through Ramey Colson helped me get connected with David and Harold.
Do you hunt, Bart?
No, I do not.
And I don't either. This has to be the first time we've had 3 people on BTL and none of us are hunters.
Isn't that great?
That is
what I was going to say.
Yeah, that is
too,
probably
Panger,
a real minute chance.
What I was going to say too, Panger, is so with the event, it's May 7th and 8th. And if you're up in Minnesota or Wisconsin or Iowa, it's kind of right in that corner of all the states. Come out to weigh-in. Weigh-ins are normally pretty big. The whole community comes out. There's a bunch of people there. You can say hi to Pangrack if you want to and bug them, and I'll go deal with retying lines. But yeah, it should be a great event. I'm really
You know why? Because it takes 20 minutes to tie a Carolina rig. That's why you're going to be tying lines.
Yeah,
if you just didn't throw it, you wouldn't have to make. You wouldn't have to do 3 knots, 4 beads, a weight, hooks, baits.
Yeah,
Matt does win that. Yeah, you can't deny what he just said there.
Yeah.
The first, so
I will
this is a
add to
true
that,
story.
Yes, so I will add to that. Yeah, we'd love to have a crowd at weigh-ins. There'll be food available. It's a great opportunity. We have Fat Cat as our MC, so he engages with the crowd. Just a great lively personality. But also, if you're around and able to come down for takeoff on Saturday morning, there's some pretty cool stuff planned. Some stuff that's in the works and that I know has been confirmed. So I will say probably it'll be the first time ever for a tournament in the Midwest for sure. I mean, in Minnesota for sure, Midwest, and probably even probably a good size geographic area that'll ever have happened. So Saturday morning takeoff will be pretty special. And yeah, if anyone that doesn't kind of get chills from it will be I don't know if they're really awake. So if you're around and can come out and check out Saturday morning takeoff, I'd highly recommend it.
But it's a secret for now?
It is. Yep. Yeah. I can't spill all the beans. I got to throw a little carrot.
Was it
out
like
there
Carrie Underwood or something?
What's that?
Is it like Carrie Underwood singing the national anthem or something?
We do have a local artist singing the national anthem, so that'll be amazing. We'll have the fire trucks from Wabasha there with the big American flag, but there's something else that one of the Corey Waller on our tournament committee put together, and yeah, I will say that it's going to be pretty special.
How do you plan on catching them, Glenn? Your detailed pattern.
I would say if I have my way, I'll be hopefully doing something a little bit different than last year. On day one, we kind of stubbed our toe, so I'm hoping
What'd you do last year?
Facing some big pre-spawn smallmouth. So
primary baits.
Oh, if I can catch them, on a moving bait, whether that's a vibrating jig or a square bill, that'd be really fun. I really don't want to have to slow down for them.
Is that green pumpkin on the chatterbait?
Yeah, green pumpkin, or on the river, it's hard to beat black blue.
Yeah, primary parts of that river that usually play.
You're gonna, like you and I kind of talked about yesterday, it's gonna spread. It spreads out, but there are certain areas on both pool 4 and 5 that it does congregate and get areas that are gonna have multiple boats in it, but a guy can get lost. Pool 4 goes, I don't even know the exact mileage, but it goes from south of Wabasha all the way up to the Red Wing Dam, so that encompasses Lake Pepin. And so, a guy could, from takeoff, run north all the way up Lake Pepin and fish the upper end of Pool 4 up by Red Wing. And And then, you have pool 5, which is a little bit shorter of a pool, but, you run south and there's plenty of backwaters there to disappear in. So there's a lot of water. So, yeah, I mean, it fishes real nice for an event this size.
Glenn, I appreciate what you did, and you answered that like an absolute professional.
That was very good.
Anything else that we need to get in here? I'll be talking about it obviously as it approaches on BTL. But I mean, I think we covered a lot for a great event, and I greatly appreciate the time of both of you jumping on BTL.
If people want to fish, Glenn, there's still some spots available, right? How many boats
Yep.
are we at now?
Yep. Yeah. So if teams want to register, if you're in, even if you're not in Minnesota, Wisconsin, in the Midwest, if you want to, come up, fish the Mississippi River, fish a tournament for a great cause, we'd love to have you. Registration is still open. So if you want to, join, you can still fish. The entry fee is $400 a team. And then you have that minimum fundraising amount of $500. So if you want to fish, please join us. We have the payout is great. We have a lot of great prizes to give the anglers as well. We have food every evening, Friday and Saturday night for the anglers. Saturday night is a banquet, which, Matt, I think you're going to really enjoy that. Unfortunately, the last 2 years, because of COVID, we weren't able to have our banquet, which, big guy, a lot of fishermen be like, oh, after I fish all day, I don't want to go sit down at a dinner. I don't want to do that. But the banquet is probably the most requested item that our anglers want from from our tournament. It's a real special evening of, highlighting the anglers that fundraise, highlighting the event, just, really paying tribute to St. Jude. And it's a real special evening. And so I think Adam's been there a couple times, and I think he'll attest that, there's very rarely at any point in that evening is there a dry eye in the room.
Yeah, you're going to cry. You will cry. I'm worried about whatever's going to happen Saturday morning at Blast Off, because if I have tears streaming down my eyes while we're doing 75 down the river, I don't think that'll be a good
It's
situation.
okay. You don't have to be able to see to throw a Carolina rig. That's the good thing. Just wrap this up. Also, I wanted to get this in, but good point by this listener. Dick Hiley, can we get a mention for the tournament namesake? What is the story with Mr. Hiley?
So I'm not 100% familiar, just because that was prior to me being involved. But yes, Dick Hiley's the namesake, and I believe that came about he was from the Rochester area, I believe, and wanted to start an event to give back to the kids of St. Jude. And years ago, back when it started in '99, I think it was a real small group of anglers. It went out of Treasure Island Casino up in Red Wing. And I think the first year they raised, I think it was only like, it was $5,000, which, back then that's, a lot of money. And, any dollar raised for the kids of St. Jude is great. But every year it's gotten bigger, and we can't thank Dick Hiley enough for, starting this event, and the original, board members and committee members that got this going. We couldn't have done it without them. It really laid the groundwork and foundation for this event to get to where it's at. And, being the 24th year of the event this year, a lot of great things coming and have it happen. And then, our committee is already looking forward to year 25 next year. Not many tournaments, can get to, team tournaments, regular open tournaments can get to that, 25 years, just because, there's turnover, there's
that's crazy.
You just don't have that. And so for a team tournament to get to that 25-year mark is really special. And there'll be a lot of, we have a lot of cool things in the works for next year as well.
We're coming for you, man. We're up to $210, and it's only been in a half hour. So you better start getting the jersey donations up there. All right, guys, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for jumping on BTL for a good cause, and enjoy the rest of your days.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
See you, Glenn. See you, Bart.
See you, Panger.
All right, that's a really cool event that you'll hear more about. Like I said, I didn't really know much about it until Bart asked me to fish in it, and then I was like, man, it's right after the Open on Ross Barnett. And then I looked at it and saw what it was and was like, yeah, I got to get involved in that. So jump on, get a BTL, Bass Fishing Saves Lives t-shirt to support the St. Jude fundraiser for that Dick Hiley tournament. And it will be greatly appreciated by everyone involved. So we're going to take our final break of BTL. When we come back, talk a little bit about what we have in store for the rest of the week. Really excited about tomorrow's live show. And then some really cool guests lined up for next week while I'm at the James River Open. So it's BTL on a Tuesday. We'll be back after this.
Vibrating jigs are a great choice for any time of year, and the Kamikaze Swim-On is a perfect match for any vibrating jig. 2 sizes and the unique tail design gives it a bait fish profile and a great swimming action for realism. There are 17 colors. See them all at bigbitebaits.com. The Spro Little John crankbait has been around for almost 15 years, and it is one of my go-to crankbaits whenever I need a fish in the boat, so you can never have enough new colors. That's why Spro's coming out with a handful of new colors, including Pearl Shad, which has this bleached out white look, but it's got this pearlescent, really, really pretty. We've got Copper Shad, which looks amazing in the water. It's got that purple flake on the back, really, really pops in the water. And then if you want some real pop, we've got Sparkle Shad, nothing but sparkles all over this thing. And then last but not least, we've got the matte Sexy Shad, just a really different looking color for a crankbait. So you want to give them a little different look. That matte Sexy Shad is definitely the one to go with. All these colors are available in the original Little John and the MD.
Combining one of the most popular hook styles with Gamakatsu's beefier Superline offering, the Gamakatsu Superline Offset Round Bend delivers the strength necessary to target big fish in heavy cover. Well suited for braided line and heavier fluorocarbon, the Gamakatsu Superline Offset Round Bend is built using stronger Superline wire that allows anglers to easily fish a finesse worm around heavy cover. The round bend offers a larger bite area, perfect for any worm presentation, while increasing your hookup ratios. The newly enhanced Z-Bend holds your plastics on the hook longer, reducing the number of pull-offs and reducing damage to plastics. Available in 2/0, 3/0, 4/0, and 5/0, this is the most durable worm hook, designed for heavier lines that hold your bait on longer.
Preparation is key to success. And that preparation starts well before you ever hit the water. You're only as strong as your connection to the fish, and your line is that critical connection. Confidence in your line every minute of every day on the water is a necessity, and failure, it's not an option. Sunline makes the fluorocarbon, nylon, and braided lines to give you the strength to guarantee your confidence.
The new Android series is the peak of the Denali lineup and offers the ultimate Denali experience. The Android series features 36-ton multi-directional graphite combined with interlock blank technology for added strength. Each rod is outfitted with Royal titanium guides that will not fail. The blank is fitted into an easy-touch, soft-feel EVA foam grip with exposed blank reel seat. This all allows the Android to transmit every movement of your bait and even the most subtle bites. The Android series is the finest rod Denali has ever made and offers an angler the ultimate fishing experience with a limited lifetime warranty. See the full lineup of Android rods at denalirods.com.
Welcome back to BTL on a Tuesday. It is April 5th, 2022. Want a big shout out to our guest this morning, Cooper Gallant. It's a heck of a name for a kid who can catch bass. 24-year-old just won the Bassmaster Open on Cherokee Lake, and really impressed with him, man. His results show it. He's got every aspect of his game, it seems, buttoned up. He's got a lot of anglers in his area there, with the Johnston brothers. I wanted to ask him, I feel like the Johnston brothers might have a little, especially Corey. I feel like there might be a little intimidation factor with Corey for the other Canadian anglers. Kind of like the Jason Christie thing down here where everyone's like, just kind of give Jason his water. I feel like that's how Corey Johnston might be with the other Canadian. Could be wrong. Could be wrong on that one. But anyway, Cooper Gallant, thanks for taking a day away from editing and off the water on the James River to jump on BTL tomorrow. we have a guest that I would put in the top tier. I'd put him up there with a Terry Battisti from Bass Fishing Archives. I'd put him up there with a Ken Duke from Fishing Tackle Retailer. I'd put him up there with a Pete Robbins from Bassmaster, all people that we've had on the show in the past, and that would be Bass Cap president Rick Pierce. Rick has been in this game for a long time. He has been on BTL in the past, but I think it's been like about a year since we've had him on. I think I was out of studio, and Mark had him in studio when they talked about the Apex series, a really cool tournament series that's going on out on the West Coast. But every time I call Rick, I end up talking to him for an hour, and I don't know how he gets anything done. They do an incredible job over there at Bass Cat and Yarcraft in it, and he just has a knowledge base and a story base that after you talk to these guys who've been in it for a long time and understand the history and how you kind of go, okay, I understand how this works, or I understand why this works, or I understand why certain things with certain organizations went in this direction, and then just awesome stories on top of it. But he has probably a better handle than anybody else on the bass boat industry. Right now, it appears to be absolutely booming with used and new boats. I mean, they can't keep the things in stock, which is awesome. For the industry, for boaters, for the companies that make them, and for the people who are enjoying it. So looking forward to getting Rick Pierce on the show tomorrow. Also going to talk a little bit about the new hull on the Puma that they just came out with. I forgot to mention, I actually sent him kind of a bullet point sheet on what we wanted to talk about, because like I said yesterday, he's like, dude, you have one job on Wednesday, and that's to keep me on track, and I have a 10 o'clock meeting, so he'll go for 2 or 3 hours on it. But some of the things that we're gonna cover there: the fishing industry, Red Crest, the classic, new hull, all old stories, bunch of different stuff with Rick Pierce. And then yes, Bradley Hallman and I are doing a deep recap. That's actually sponsored by Best on Tour now. My title sponsor, it would be the Opens recap show, where we are going to each have 5 or 6 clips or more from the most recent Open on Cherokee Lake. Brad and I finished roughly the same, pretty much like what we did in Florida too. Hallman finished in the mid 50s here, so we're within like 10, 15 points of each other in the first 2, and we both did opposite things to end up with the same results again. So he's going to analyze my game tape. I'm going to analyze his game tape. We're going to go over how we almost got the job done on Cherokee, what we learned, mistakes we made, things we did right, analyzing video, slow motion, replay, GoPro action from it. There was a really good response the last time we did that, so I'm going to get Brad in here at some point this week before we head out. That will probably air next week while I am at the James River, and then we will rinse, wash, and repeat and do the same thing after the James River, the same thing after Ross Barnett in Mississippi. Also on the schedule for next week is Johnny from Fish the Moment, Johnny Schultz, and he's going to talk a little about his deep dive app, and he's been in the industry longer than I have. I confirmed with him yesterday. Yes, he did have a boat deal at the age of 8, like legit, like a serious boat deal. So we'll talk to Johnny about that, and then obviously you can't forget day 4 with Frank. The feedback from day 4 with Frank has been absolutely incredible, and every show I look more and more forward to talking with Frank. Like I said, head over to basszone.com and then click on the fundraiser St. Jude link. If you would like to donate to the fund for Adam Bartusek and myself to compete in the Dick Hiley St. Jude Bass Classic, the beginning of next month in May. Also, while you're clicking on stuff, head over to if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, any of the podcast platforms. Jeffries used to always pimp this, and I was like, man, why? Who? Feedback. But it is very important when it comes to showing the companies that support BTL and what we're able to provide for you guys to see feedback that people are appreciating it. So we're almost to 2,000 reviews on iTunes. So if you are listening on iTunes and have not given a review, be it a 1-star or a 5-star or a 3-star, somewhere in the middle, trust me, I read and listen to them all. It would be much appreciated if you headed over that and just took 10 seconds on the Bass Talk Live page to not only rate, but also comment if you haven't done that already. So that's awesome. There's already people that are ordering t-shirts for it. Fantastic. I love the BTL listeners. That's all we got for BTL on a Tuesday. We will be back tomorrow morning, bright and early, with Rick Pierce from Bass Cat. Everyone have a good day.